Of late kumekuwa na online controversy kidogo after the release of MTV Shuga. Watu wanasema inakopi sana the American culture, ina try too hard to impress. It's not too authentic, it's not Kenyan enough. How is it? Kenya mnatakaje? For Kenyan movies to be international level, is it the quality of the shots? Is it the quality of the story? With me today, nilipata chance ya kukaa chini na one of the Kenyan pioneers in the film industry and of course also in the theater industry, anaitwa Wycliffe Buhere. He's one of the people wenye amekuwa pioneer the theater industry in Kenya, and he is known as Papa or Msiani. He is also the patron of Powerhouse Drama Club, which is the KAMC Drama Club. Imetoa people such as Abel Mutua, Njugush, Azziad Nasenya, among many others wenye saizi the key stakeholders in this film industry. Na wanafanya film productions. So, vitu zenye wanafanya kama Anastoto, vitu wamefanya kama Click Click Bang and all. How do we rate such productions? Do we rate them because they are great? Ama do we rate them because they are authentic and they tell the Kenyan authentic story? And ni lazima film zetu zikuwe nominated kwa these Oscar awards so that tuzi rank as international standards. And also, as a producer, is it important for you, ama is it a must for you to produce films zenye zinakuwa perceived as international standards? Well, for this and much more, tulipata chance kuongea na Buhere, and he had a lot to say about what makes a film international level. Because for those who don't know, he's also a member of the Kenyan Oscars committee. Yes, kuna committee ya Oscars manze Kenya. Hao ndio each and every year they get to choose one film that they get to nominate kwa Oscar awards. Inakuwa ranked na other African films na inakuwa awarded. So, let's get to know what makes this important. And also, if you're a drama enthusiast, unapenda drama, unapenda stage performances, you also had a thing or two to say about the Kenyan industry because he's also a key player in the Kenyan industry. Na pia, aliguzia kiasi controversy ya Butere Girls drama yenye ili happen juzi Nakuru, and you'll be amazed with what he had to say about this because for him, he has a very different take ya hiyo drama yote ilikuwa cost na nini and how it could have been handled or maybe how it brought the attention kwa the drama festivals. Sababu in Kenya tumefocus sana na sports, tumefocus sana na many other things, but drama inakuanga at the back of their minds of people. Lakini sababu Echoes of War ili trend, this year drama festivals nationals ilikuwa na a lot of attention. Tell a friend to tell a friend, someone who loves drama, someone who loves any of our previous stories that tumefanya, and we grow as a community and we grow as a channel. Anyway, turn to watch interview.
My name is Wycliffe Buhere. That is my official name as per the register of persons at my house. But then I happen to be having numerous names based on various cohorts who call me various names. Of course, the cohort that is very particular with me, the Powerhouse team, has called me Msiani. Msiani means a young person, kijana barubaru. Kijana mtanashati in Kiswahili, Mangeseluya, and Papa. They are now calling me Papa. I think they think that I'm no longer Msiani. I'm now called Papa. So they have also given me that name Papa. So it gravitates between Msiani and Papa from the field. And of course, again, others call me Amayoka, others call me Sinche, depending on the cohort that I have. But otherwise, to realize and understand is that I gravitate a lot. 90% of my movements are within the theater and film in this country. So that's where I obtain a lot of appraisals as well as friends and cohorts. So I'm also a principal lecturer at the Kenya Mass Communication Film Training Department. I'm also an industrial liaison officer. Industrial liaison officer in the sense that I coordinate internship, I coordinate industrial attachment with the outside, industry in collaboration with the academic registrar and the director, the Kenya Mass Communication. So basically that's my work. I'm also a corporate master of ceremony. I do a lot of corporate events, in graduations. I do quite a number of corporate events, and that's me. That's me, actually.
Yeah. I think that's great because you wear a lot of hats.
I do, and I appreciate so much.
Yeah, and you do that with a lot of pride.
Oh, yes, sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you excel also in all of those fields.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So maybe let's dive into it. Juzi umetrend sana social media. Tumekuona umesalimia rais. And it was a time that everyone was following the proceedings in Nakuru because of the Buhere girls drama. Maybe how was that moment for you now, the field of you as a powerhouse patron?
Yeah, it was the pinnacle of my involvement in the theatre for schools and colleges, and having been given the trophy on behalf of the director, Kenya's Mass Communication, having won overall best institution at the festival, I felt very great. I felt great, and I took that honor on behalf of the director, Kenya's Mass Communication, and Kenya Institute of Mass Communication Community, and the chair of the council. So I felt great, and it was the moment that has never happened before, because we have won. We have won, and some of the times we received those trophies from the CS, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Education. Sometimes we have the Principal Secretary. Sometimes we have other dignitaries who come on board. And whenever you have won that trophy, you are given by any dignitary that's been identified by the organizers. But this time around, the national patron of the Kenya National Drama and Film Festival, who is the Excellency the President, was able to come, and the ceremony was actually handled at State House Nakuru. And having been number 2 person to be mentioned in the entire array of the trophy, that's the Kenya's Mass Communication, and being the team leader at that time, because when you travel, and the director, you provide all the information to the director, because we cannot all travel. Many times I am the team leader, and I'm the technical person for theatre and film in terms of the exhibition, and that's why I felt great to do that on behalf of the management of the Kenya's Mass Communication. It was a great moment. It has never happened before. Yeah. We have had many presidents. I was in drama when we had the former president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. We also had Mwai Kibaki. We also had Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Yeah. And of course, I have been in this field for long, but I had never gotten a moment of greeting number 1 citizen of the country. Yeah. That was, for me, was a great moment. Yeah. Yes.
And of course, it was also at a point of the country.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, we had a lot of sideshows in Nakuru, but everything was quite well. We had the moment of our time. I remember the festival had a stoppage for 2 years because of Corona. We began slowly coming back from 2023 in Shimolatewa, Mombasa. We went to University of Embu last year, and the momentum has actually been gained when we went to Nakuru. So the festival was lit, and the items were of high standard. Yeah. And even as we moved on, being I declared the best among others, that was a great moment. Of course, issues of echoes of war was basically by the way. It was behind the scenes, but everything else was great. And the learners and trainees and students in universities. Of course, you know that the Kenya National Drama and Film Festival is the only event in the academia, in the calendar of the Ministry of Education, that brings all learners together. Learners in the sense that they are coming from the ECD level, early years, going all the way to universities. That is, you can have the same stage being graced by an ECD learner, and at the same time being graced by a student who's actually doing or writing his PhD or her PhD. Yeah. So that is the spectrum that we have for Kenya National Drama and Film Festival. There's no any other organization. Even if exams are being done by NEC, everybody does exams on their own. Yeah. If you are doing sports, everybody does sports on their own. We have those secondary. We even have now today, we are talking about JS having their own sports. We have primary having their own, universities having their own, tertiary having their own, but the only event that brings together all learners, irregardless, quote unquote, of the cadre, then that is the Kenya National Drama and Film Festival. Yes.
This is the first time that almost the whole country, in a long time, since Shackles of Doom, that the whole country was interested with what is happening in the drama festival. It is not usually like this over the years. But when you compare things like high school football games, almost the whole country, or maybe Western region, but almost the whole country is usually interested to know which team is winning, which team is qualifying. But when it comes to now the national festivals, drama national festivals, not a lot of people, the Kenyan audience, they're usually not that interested as much as they were interested in Echoes of War. Do you believe it's because it's not usually publicized more, or does it purposely target the students who are currently in school at that time and running?
Not really. Partly because of the fact that whereas, say, sports will be held in Kakamega, that is for the Kenya National Sports, Secondary School Sports Association, will be having their games in Kakamega this year in August. And of course, again, the East African Fiesta in terms of sports will be held in Kakamega. We do know that in our society, we have been able to embrace sports much, much more than any other. If you talk about football, we have had an old, old rivalry in football. We have the Gor Mahia and FC of this time. We have the Shabanas. We have the Muranga Seal and many, many others. And of course, we have these guys from Machakos. They're called who?
Sofapaka.
Sofapaka.
Watoto wa Mungu.
Watoto wa Mungu.
Yes.
So sports is an old event, and it attracts a lot of attention from every corner, from the old to young and old professionals. But an element of theatre has never been well built in this country to an extent that it attracts every person on board. When you are doing Kenya National Drama and Film Festival, whereas we have a lot of branding, a lot of promotion on the event, we have never had it as a common practice in our sphere. We people still call it wanafanya mchezo ya drama. Wanafanya mchezo ya drama. And many times we have never had professionals who excel out of theatre and become something bigger. As opposed to sports, we can put some names who have been able to play in international forum, international championship, international leagues from our local space. Schools like Kakamega School have produced, have produced international players in the rugby and football. If you look at a school like Lenana, look at Nairobi School, have produced that equivalent. But again, what is also very important to think about is that the theatre that we have in this country from time immemorial, like of course you know very well that the Kenya National Drama and Film Festival began in 1959. And we have done it as a core curriculum. Remember, it used to be an extra curriculum, it became a core curriculum. It's now a curriculum based on the competency-based education, not curriculum. Now we have moved from CBC now to CBE. Now, we are now embracing theatre, we are embracing film as a curriculum activity. Now, film has been done at college level. You come from high school, you may have had an interest in performing arts, and then you come with that kind of understanding and knowledge, and you go to school, Kenya Mass Communication, you go to Daystar, you go to ISAU, you go to other colleges, and build that talent into script writing, directing, and acting for theatre and acting for film. But then with the CBE, we are now going to have this being done. Now, if you looked at the kind of curriculum we have, even from now we are doing grade 10, 11, and 12, the kind of activities we are having in the curriculum are the equivalent being done in first year and second year at tertiary level. So that those in the tertiary level, they'll be receiving fully baked, if you like, students who now undertake their programs quite well in theatre and film. Now, coming from that background is that theatre may have been done just as a co-curriculum or extra curriculum, not providing a lot of fame, if you like, or excitement, if you like, to many, many people in this country. And that's why you find that when you're having drama and film festival, it will have an interest with teachers, with learners, and with ministry officials and any other theatre enthusiast.
Yeah.
We even have people who travel out of the country. When we were in Nakuru, we had people coming from Nigeria, some came from South Africa, to come and, to come and share and network with us, to see the level of theatre we have in this country. And something to understand is that our festival is the largest performing arts event in East and Central Africa and Africa at large.
Yeah.
The only other challenge we are getting is the Ritz Festival of the Kingdom of Swaziland, which also attracts quite a number of people, and it's a week, month-long kind of festival, as opposed to ours is the longest. We run for 12 days. We have a buffet, if you like, of performances from poetry to dance to play writing and play directing. We have mime and all that. We have narrative, we have comedy. So that kind of spectrum can never be found anywhere. You may find that we have a festival of poetry, we have a festival of play, we have a festival of dance, but having a festival of performing arts that brings together a buffet of all these items performed in the same fora for more than 10 days, it doesn't happen anywhere in Africa, with huge budgets from the Ministry of Education, from individual institutions, because you know that the principals, mostly from secondary, from tertiary and universities, take the entire budget. And then again, we have too much of money coming from the Ministry of Education through free primary and free secondary. Free day secondary education going into these particular performances. So we have there's a lot of money that is spent at the festival venue and festival township or festival city. If you look at the economy of Nakuru, it may have grown by a percentage or so because of the availability of the team. And when you are talking about 10 days alone, we are not talking about 10 days per se. You are talking about more than 20. We have what you call advance party, who arrive there earlier. The kind of accommodation we are getting, the kind of food people are eating. You would have come to the festival village. You would have seen that indeed all the people who are involved, from selling food, selling giveaways, gifts and all that, it was an enormous kind of business. So what my point is that theatre may not be very much common within our bloodstream. As opposed to sports. I do know that there will be too much excitement about Kakamega hosting sports, especially football. Villages become empty. Boys and girls have left the villages, have gone to the venue. The venue village or watch center or vigil center is full of people. And maybe that's why. But I think with the CBE coming on board, with people embracing theatre and film as an academic program, academic course, would then of course provide a lot of information and a lot of excitement and a lot of knowledge that indeed this kind of performing or performance would then still of course be attracting a lot of interest from would-be enthusiasts.
But Papa, if for sure we have seen that, because personally I've seen industry inaweza kuwa poa sana, because the likes of Abel Mutua, the likes of Butita, the likes of Njugush na kina nani, they're not doing it, but they're making the younger generation also to believe that film and theatre is something that they can also pursue. But having said that, film is not regarded as much as sports with the society. Don't you believe that maybe the government or maybe you yourself as a stakeholder, which other industry or which other country can we emulate in Africa? Because personally I feel like Kenya and Nigeria, we are like we are spearheading this industry in the African continent. Don't you feel we can do better in terms of structures? Because from the lower primary level up to high school level, we have solid structures that are holding the theatre and drama festivals. But unapata mtu akimaliza after form 4, unless ukuje KMC or go to RTI or any other institute that embodies theatre and drama, you find that passion will die. Unapata mtu ameenda kwa industry yenye ataifanya because you have to pay bills, of course. Why doesn't the government invest as much as they do from lower primary level up to high school kwa now the main industry?
Now the government is investing. You should be aware that even the robust involvement of our content creators in this field is because of the new media. The new media has brought in a lot of improvement and synergy for those who want to venture in that area. Remember when we grew up, you could not be able to transmit any information. You would write a letter to the editor at National Media Group or the Standard for your letter to be printed on the newspaper. Today, you don't have to talk to them. You can publish your story on your Facebook newsline. We call it the new newsline. Your new page. You don't have to wait for someone to come and you don't have to wait for an editor to pick your story and see if it's worth going on air or not. You have your own space, you have your own platform, you can go on air anytime you want. And sometimes even some of the people that we have today, the Abel Mutuas, the Njugush, the Tom Dactaris, I'm mentioning only mine who have passed here. I don't want to mention other people. And by the way, the other day we saw that Abel Mutua is among the top 10. Is the first top 10 person who's trending in the social media. So it's because of this opening that we can see. If you look at Abel Mutua began slowly. Look at Njugush. But with time again, you build, you develop interest, you develop a following, you develop a constituency, and then you move with it. And whenever you develop a constituency, I'm telling you, the constituency will stick with you and they will bring on board many other people. So I will appreciate the fact that the new development and the trajectories that we are having in the media today is because of the new media. And even the traditional desktop media, like the existing national media group of this world, the Royal Media Services of this world, the Standard Media of this world, the KBC of this world, they are also embracing the new media. The new media is where young people are leveraging. There's nobody who's sitting in the house watching TV. In fact, in the next 5 years or so, there will be no box TV in the house. Box TV in the house is because TV is going on, but everybody's in his own bedroom watching something else. So the physical TV in the house, as it were, is moving out. We are now moving to the social media. We are moving to these other outlets. The smartphone will be our new, it is already, but will be our ultimate new partner. The way we have had, the physical TV in the house being our partner in the house. You would find people have gone for, a visit in the house, and instead of them talking, they're watching TV. Now, instead of people watching TV, they are now on their phones. The husband is on the phone, the wife is on the phone, children on their phone. Everybody is with his or her own world, networking with different people when you have physical human beings in the house. So that is the level we are going. And with this kind of trend, then we will be leveraging a lot more on the new media, even as we move forward. And we are going to make more money on that. Now, most of the media houses will tell you that they are making a lot of money through the social media handle or platforms as opposed to the digital media. The desktop media. And most of them have actually been able to reinvent the wheel. They are reinventing the wheel. Look at the Royal Media Services. Other than the normal TV, they have gone online. They have gone View Sasa. They have also gone View Travel. They have also gone View Everything.
View Pay.
View Pay. You can actually buy things from the house, and Royal Media Services through their other outlets will bring food in your house because they are leveraging on the social media platform where most people are on. Instead of you driving to the mall, still Royal Media outlets and many others, of course, are there. They can bring food for you in the house. Why would you have to drive when you can only use about 200 shillings for somebody to drop food in your own house? You get the point? So that is a trend. And another thing you mentioned about Nigeria, Nollywood. Nollywood grew not because of government intervention. Nollywood grew specifically because of the enthusiasts of Nigerians in the villages using camcorder to do their own things. And later on it grew to larger cities like Lagos. Abuja. And the government now noticed that indeed we are making money through this particular platform, film, and therefore they have a whole ministry that handles cinematics and infotainment. A whole ministry. Cinematics and infotainment. Why? Because people on the ground found that it was leveraging on the economy,
Yeah.
and therefore the government now took it over and began now supporting the industry from the top.
Yeah.
It became bottom up,
Yeah.
then it went to the top. No, unlike from the top coming down.
Yeah.
The government noticed people were in and it came in to support them. Not the government starting and then people come in. You get the point?
Yeah.
And that's how Nollywood grew.
Yeah.
Grew from people who had not gone to cinematic school, people who had not gone to film schools, and they were only doing their work on camcorder.
Yeah.
And you may have noticed that some of their movies, as we were watching them before, were very poorly done. Poor picture, poor sound, and poor story, poor editing.
Yeah.
But again, that is how they did their thing. And Kenya, again, we are enthusiasts, and I'm even told we are the most enthusiast social media users in Africa.
Yeah.
Source anonymous.
Yeah.
So Kenyans are very much on social media. You have seen also the kind of war that we are having with our neighbors. We are doing so much, we are talking so much about them, and we are talking about them in our country. Yes. Kenyans are just lovers of social media thanks to Gen Z. Yeah.
So you feel this is the right moment for any person who has been enthusiast, he's an enthusiast filmmaker, an enthusiast thespian. You feel this is the exact moment that they should go into with the new media, embracing the new media?
It is the exact moment. Yeah. And the fact that, again, the government has now also noticed that indeed we have something going on in this space by introducing an element of film and theater in the curriculum, and then the media is growing. Yeah. Social media is growing. You never know what will happen 2 years from now. Yeah. There are days where you would come and run to the house to watch news. Today, you can go to the house and play back the news. Yeah. You can play back the news. You can go to YouTube and you can even do it on your phone. If the news, if it's at 7:30 in the evening, you can come to 7 o'clock and begin watching news. You rewind and start watching news. News is ahead, but you are following from the word go. That has never happened before. And that is the new trend that we are moving in. Yeah. Thanks to social media and the internet available in our households. And of course, Kenya internet is very high, as opposed to many other countries. You can find internet anywhere. You go to Lodwar, you're on internet. You go to Lokchogio, you're on internet. There are some other countries you can't find that internet. The kind of network we have in this country is very, very enormous. You can find 4G, even some areas will have 5G, and that is not very possible in many other countries. Yeah. Yes.
Powerhouse imetoa watu wengi sana in the current new media, as you said. Kuna Njugush, kuna Abel.
Tom Daktari is now the boy in town. Yeah. Yes.
Oko wengi?
Yeah, Azziad Nasenya.
Azziad Nasenya.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, oko wengi sana. Personally, when it comes to you now as the patron, as Msiani, for the longest time that you've been there, apart from now seeing these people, ukiwa single out when you may make it to the top, what do you look at? Ama what tells you, mtu akiingia first time, mtu akiingia Powerhouse the first time, can you be able to tell huyu atakuwa na hii trajectory, ama can you be able to tell a great actor, or how do you identify actors so that we join Powerhouse? And for you, what makes a great actor, hata wenye wako ama wenye wamekuwa, because unaweza pata agenda hiyo level like Abel Mutua, but for you, what do you look at? Is it the stage presence? Is it their facial expressions? Is it their character, personality? What do you look at, and what do you look at that tells?
Something very important about our center of learning is that one, we are in showbiz. Our training is geared towards showbiz. 90% of our training, whether you're doing film directing, you're doing film camera, you're doing film sound, you are doing film editing, you are doing broadcast journalism, you are doing media technology, you are leveraging all your training or TV production or radio. This is showbiz, show business. And show business is about talent. And so you find that most of the students who come are either enthusiasts of talent or they are themselves drawn in talent. You find that those who are coming from various schools that were involved in performing arts, if you looked at people like Njugush was a great performer in high school. Look at OJ. I actually found OJ when I was adjudicating in Nakuru district when he was in Form 2. And I told Mwalimu, this boy akimaliza shule nilete. And they did, of course, bring it to me. And there are some strengths, when I'm adjudicating out there, I will identify a talent and I tell Mwalimu, huyu mtu akimaliza nilete, don't waste him or her. I have done that. So first and foremost, as you have asked, KMC training is biased towards show business or cinematics and infotainment, entertaining by providing information.
Yeah.
Cinema, moving pictures, entertainment, audio visual, media technology, the same thing. So you'll find that they come here, some of them who may not have been involved in talent, they just transform pole into actors, into presenters, into content creators.
Yeah.
And this field is not about talent in front of the camera, it's talent behind the camera. Like our cameraman here will train here for 3 years and will be a content creator. You don't have to be a content creator by being in ideation and script writing.
Yeah.
And by the way, cinematics is all about collaborative. We are more than 3 people.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Yes.
There could have been more.
Yeah.
So cinematics is all about collaborative activity. You may have good camera work, you have poor sound. You have good camera work, you have poor lighting.
Yeah.
You have good lighting, you have poor exposures.
Yeah.
You have good lighting, you have good good camera work, you have poor artists. You have good artists, you have good camera, you have good sound, you have poor scripts.
Yeah.
Are you seeing where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
A good script spoiled by technical. Good technical people spoiled by the script. Good technical people, good script spoiled by the talent. Are you seeing that ecosystem?
Yeah.
The ecosystem is collaborative. That talent can only do good work when it has a good cameraman.
Yeah.
That cameraman can only do well if it has a very good gaffer, people handling lighting. That cameraman can do good work by having gaffers and having a good sound person who will be able to provide proper sound, even as we're speaking now. So it is an ecosystem. And in an ecosystem, if you miss one thing, everything's gone. You get the point? In an ecosystem, miss one thing, everything's gone. You cannot have lions in the wilderness without having prey. You must have antelopes. You cannot have antelopes have lions and you're missing grass. Antelopes must feed on grass. Lions must feed on antelopes. You get the point?
Yeah.
So that is the ecosystem we are talking about. One particular element of cinematography can spoil the broth, if you like. So this school trains these kind of people. And therefore, when they arrive here, besides just them training in technical aspects of cinematics, we also endeavor them to go to the performing arts. And the performing arts is basically found in Powerhouse. And this, when they come in, we have a very elaborate program where we have even an entire committee handling production, ideation, or management. You might attend through Alumni Association. There will be nothing that was happening in my club, even if there's disagreement. The script is not moving. Things are not working. They will come and tell me, please, ambia watoto to put up their sleeves.
Yeah.
We cannot allow you to be number 2 at the regionals. We will make sure that we come over and whip you up.
Yes.
Whipping, putting in order for you to be number 1 at nationals.
Yeah.
And this is a kind of environment they work in. And then when, say, an alumni walks in, the equivalent of Njugush, the equivalent of Tom Daktari, the equivalent of Okush, even you, they will see that indeed I want to be like this kind of person. What was the demeanor of this person when he was on campus? He was in Powerhouse.
Yeah.
He was always available.
Yeah.
He was able to have the script even 1 week before. And that kind of trajectory will be emulated by the fresher who becomes second year, third year. And when he leaves out, something also very important, that kind of network is there.
Yeah.
That guy who acted well, who was best actor in Nakoro, Lete Yeye, and Njugush has done, Njugush and Abel Mutua, Philip Production, Philip Karanja, and Abel Mutua have done it very well. Let your talent. And of course, again, Njugush has said that before, Njugush was a product of scouting by Abel Mutua. When Abel Mutua came over to check on what we were doing, or in what we normally call as main festival, found Njugush had a very peculiar talent. That talent, we normally call it slapstick in comedy. Slapstick, using body to derive laughter.
Yeah.
It's called slapstick comedy. Without saying a thing, but because of the way you look like on stage, people are just laughing. Because of his nature of body.
Yeah, characterization.
Yes. Body language. We call it paralinguistic features. Already people are laughing. are laughing at you
Yeah.
instead of you saying anything, or laughing what you have done without saying anything.
Yeah.
So he discovered that kind of peculiar talent. And later on, they began, of course, Abel Mutua and Philip Karanja were basically assistant directors of Taid High. They were acting in Taid High. I'm one of the pioneer assistant directors, producers of Taid High.
Yeah.
And I was a talent scout. So I would scout for talent from KIMC, and I would also scout for talent at Technical University of Kenya. By then it was called Kenya Poly. Those are guys, we used to work very close to each other. And then I picked the entire talent of that year. That is 2006, when we just left Mombasa, and we took it to Taid High.
Yeah.
Of course, it was 2005, 2006. Then the entire team went to Taid High. The first ever creme de la creme of Taid High were either in KMC or Taid High. No, KMC or Poly, sorry.
Yeah,
or Took.
Yeah.
And then I was seen as a technical person.
Yeah.
So we brought that talent together. And later on, of course, Catherine Wamuyu, the queen of local soap opera,
Yeah.
Catherine Wamuyu, she identified these boys and told them, you guys, you can be assistant directors. Later on, they became directors. In Kidogo, true house helps.
Yeah.
See, true housewives. Two houses of
Real
Kawangware.
housewives of Kawangware.
And they brought in the likes of Njugush acting, likes of Matilda, Chebet, Esther. And it moved on. From there, they moved out and began their own production. And that's why they called it to fill it. They had to fill it for them to start their own production called Fill It. Fill It from the word Philip.
Yeah.
Production.
Yes.
And it's doing pretty well. It's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
It's in terms of multi-million project and multi-million studio they are running.
So generally, Papa, mimi naweza sema, for you with Powerhouse, that's something that anyone who has attested your craft in the industry attest you're one of the key players in the theater space. And of course, if you're watching and uko high school unataka kumaliza unashangaa, where can you go to an institution that it nurture your acting career, your acting talent? KMC is the place to be. You get to learn also the behind the scenes. By the time unamaliza utakuwa director mnoma, utakuwa script writer mnoma. You'll be able to be a full package.
Even an actor.
Even an actor, yeah, so that you can also focus on where you're going. So now I want us to shift gears now and go now to your accolades. There's a time that you're nominated in 2020 after Corona. Wycliffe Buhere has been nominated to the Kenyan Oscars committee. That's the first time that also personally nilijua aya. Kumbe Kenya we also have a Kenyan committee.
We have.
Yeah, siko najua.
Yes, yeah.
So maybe as for me, it's a very big thing because Oscars is an international award. Yes, I'll say it's the best.
In the performing arts, that's the best.
That's the
in
best.
the cinematic arts, that's the best. Yeah.
So for you, how did you feel ukiwa nominated for such a position? Because obviously in such a position, easy connections, you have to prove.
You have to prove.
I'm sure
yes,
they will kuchukua because of your credentials and all. That one I don't doubt. But for you, so where were you that day and how did you feel and how was it so far, and which some of the movies during that time you were able to?
When Corona struck, we were asked to remain where you are. But that time, it happened when I was actually managing festival in Nairobi. We were at Don Bosco Boys Technical School in Karen, where we were hosting our Nairobi Region Drama and Film Festival. So being the chairman of the organization, I got a call from the director of education, regional director of education from Nyaya House, as well as a message coming from the PS office, Minister of Education, that we have to stop what we are doing forthwith and go back to our schools. It was very disheartening. Remember, Corona was something that it wasn't like an accident where you fall and die. You are told that it's something which develops. So we were actually in the middle of the festival, and I remember that time we were on stage. We are performing a dance, and I was told that indeed stop the event. And I remember having had a crucial meeting with the colleagues who are also managers as well as patrons from various schools to come on over for a meeting so that I would be able to announce that, because there's nothing, you can't just announce that to the students. Sometimes you might actually find it difficult. So I told them to go to their cohorts and talk to their students and tell them what's going on, and we have been told to stop, and we'll be told to come anytime that when things have actually been leveled to the ground.
Yeah.
So I was in Kakamega, and I got that call that indeed I am a member of the Kenya Oscars. And being a member of the Oscars, you must come through an association, and I'm a member of the PAIC, the Association of Film Producing Education Institutions of Kenya, where I happen to be a technical person. I'm a head of technical at the FPAIC. So I was picked, and then I was told to report immediately to Kenya Film Commission, which is our headquarters, so to speak, of the Oscars in Kenya. And we arrived there, we had a meeting, and we did, of course, do our own elections again. And we found a chair, we found a secretary, and we moved on. And our first assignment was to pick one of the films then that would go later on go. And that time we had quite a number of them. We had Uradi. That's the first time I came across Uradi. Uradi by Kangede Mungai.
Yeah.
Uradi, a very good story talking about
the one that had
radicalization of our centers of learning. Because when young people come to campus, they are broke, they come from a humble environment, and you begin to give them money and put them through, radicalize them through their process, and using their knowledge, their skill to do terrorism. That is what he came up with. And of course, we had Barua. Barua was a documentary coming from Coast, Kilifi. And again, after looking at that, we had a number of them, but we zeroed on 2 of them, a full feature film and a documentary. And we thought it was a docu-drama, Barua. And then we looked at them and we said, now, if you look at Uradi is good, but he's taking the Hollywood approach. Yeah. Action. When you take a Hollywood approach and the movie is going to the Hollywood environment, you are likely going to fail. Yeah. So we picked Barua, which basically was a docudrama talking about the witch doctors of the coast. In this country, some tribes, if you become old, if you become 80, you automatically become a witch. So the women in Kilifi County, one of them was actually identified as a witch. Yeah. And it was actually from a true story. Just the way to be done is done among us, the way people in Western Kenya, Kisii, Luo, and Luya. If you become old, you are already a witch. You are declared one. So it was a story about that, and we thought that had an African touch, and it would have done very well. It went, of course, it didn't get much, but of course, we are very much aware about Nairobi Half-Life. That was actually the nearest we came close to picking something from the Oscars, Nairobi Half-Life, when Nairobi Half-Life went. So I have been involved in that, and that's given me another mileage to be able to be talking to various forums of film. I have done quite a lot in that area. I'm also a member. I'm a consultant with the Kenya Film Commission. So it has given me a lot of networks. And of course, again, having some networks at the Oscars headquarters where we chat with some of the great people that we were together in that particular forum. So I'm great. I'm greatly I thank the FPAIC. I also thank the local organizing committee that picked me, and I was able to do that work very well. So I'm saying thank you very much for the great moment that we have had. Even as we are at the Kenya Smart Communication, trying to nurture talent and be able to become ambassadors of talent in this country.
But Papa, ukisema ati Uradi was too Hollywood, inaleta hiyo something that saizi in the industry saizi there's MTV Shuga. MTV Shuga wamefeature young Kenyans, young content creators, young actors. They are famous in the internet space, but saizi they're receiving a lot of bashment from the locals, some are from people online. Wanawambia they're being too American. They're trying so much to be too Hollywood. But also again, on the other hand, if I'm a producer and I do hizi stories za kawaida za Kenya, they're saying the Kenyan industry iko chini, Kenyan industry imelala. How do you strike a balance? Because umekuwa kwa the Oscars committee, the movies that you keep on submitting, do they have to be organic Kenyan stories? So how do you balance, how do producers get to balance your, I don't be too Hollywood or too American, and also I don't be too Kenyan? How do you get that balance to also get an international market?
You talked about organic, and organic in the sense that something indigenous, something unadulterated, something that is pure, something that's virgin. So when you talk about organic, I want to give you a challenge. Why are we are watching a lot of Nigerian movies in our enclaves? If you looked at every, it may have changed, but if you looked at every TV station as it were, or if you looked at Viusasa or any other video on demand, they are basically showing narratives from Nigeria. If you looked at Nigerian movies more carefully, you will find that their narratives are basically having a Nigerian touch, by and large an African touch.
Yeah.
Which stories sell? Which of course I do know that 3 things sell in cinematic storytelling. We have sex, we have religion, and we have politics.
Yeah.
Those things sell. If you have a story that has sex in it, if you have a story that has politics in it, and you have a story that has religion in it, it will sell much more. Why is it Nigerian movies have had a lot of dalliance with Kenyan audience or African audience by and large? Why is it that we have less of Bollywood in this country? You know, Bollywood is very melodramatic.
Yeah.
After you watch melodrama, so what? You've seen how melodramatic it is? Exaggeration. Nigeria, you'll find that they have a lot of touch with the realia. They are shooting their movies in the villages. They are talking about their witchcraft. They are talking about the rural life.
Yeah.
Everybody in this country, in this town, in this city, has had a village aspect in their life. Why are we shooting our movies in concrete jungle? Why are we shooting in these big buildings in Nairobi, on the highways?
Yeah.
Why can't we go to the villages? I've never seen people go to Meru and use the Meru landscape to shoot a very good movie from there. And I'm seeing that happening to Kenya Schools and Colleges Film Festival. A school like Chokori Girls, a school like like Meru School, a school like maybe let's go to Kericho Township. If they're shooting their movie, they will likely. I've seen Gangufiri, Mogoiri Girls.
Yeah.
Look at their movies. By the schools and colleges and film festival, they are shooting their movies within the coffee plantations, within the tea plantations, and it's looking very nice. Why haven't we done movies going all the way to Kericho? You've seen More Fire?
Yeah, I've seen it.
More Fire, in terms of location, the location is very organic. Let me use your word again. The location is very organic. It's very rural. It has a lot of flora and fauna. It has field of depth. They are shooting. There's a time they go to Mumias.
Yeah.
And within Mumias, they go to sugarcane plantations. The vehicle is stuck in the middle of the plantation. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. They even have a drone shot of Mumias flora and fauna.
Yeah.
That element of location alone would even sell. And the story in organization of the story cannot be necessarily on the narrative alone, can also be in terms of sets, in terms of location and all that.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Yeah.
Look at the beauty of Nigerian movies where they are shot in the villages, people are going drawing water, girls are moving around with the African beauty and all that. We have the kingship, we have the authority and all that. We have the witches on the highways, hidden somewhere, and somebody was walking then sees them. And this is what is a mirror of our life. It's a mirror of our life. We come across aspects of witchcraft, which is not Hollywood. Is witchcraft Hollywood?
No.
No.
It's African. But, but don't you think it's because of the main consumers are people in the city, so they want to see the city life?
Again, you will also be surprised that even some of the audiences, as it were, in the civilized society community, want to have a touch of the African culture. And that's why if you inject some African culture, if you inject some African organic setting, is likely to attract more viewership from upmarket audiences. You can't do something Hollywood and expect people in the Hollywood enclave to watch it and love it.
Yeah.
You are copycatting. If you copycat me, you won't be my original.
Yeah.
Do something peculiar and you'll stand out. You know about the early filmmakers. If you looked at the nowhere in Africa, if you looked at early movies were being shot in the Masai Mara, in the Masai Mara. You look at Kruger National Park in South Africa and all that. The interest was something they do not have in their environment. They don't have those national parks. They have orphanages. What they call them? The orphanages. Zoos. Yeah. But if they are filming movies, look at Saikati, our own movie done by KMC. Saikati 1, Saikati 2, which was shot actually in some Masai Mara. It received a lot of audiences in some cinema theaters in Berlin.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the flora and fauna of Masai Mara. They are seeing, then people are flying to Masai Mara and enjoying the flora and fauna, and something is happening within Masai Mara. That location alone is virgin. It gives them something different to watch, as opposed to car chase, heist in the bank, gun running around the city. That is Hollywood.
Yeah.
How many times have you had a heist in the bank in Kenya? More than 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But you will hear about things happening, abductions happening. And you can even have abductions in your own local understanding.
Yeah.
Abductions happen in movies, in Hollywood, But then it's given the test, it's given the fragrance, if you like, from the Hollywood approach.
Yeah.
But if you do abduction and provide it with our own understanding of abduction, then I know you can run with it, and it will have an interest. You get the point?
Yeah.
So it's not about storytelling. It's about having a story and giving it a local touch. Yes, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we've put it right. And if that's the view, then I now understand why even the YouTube movie, the YouTube series that Awinja did, Disco Matanga.
Yes, Disco Matanga. Why is it having a following? People can identify.
Yeah.
And Awinja has gone home. Ameenda Mudete. Ameenda Vihiga County. Hajafanyia hapa Ruai.
Yeah.
You can still do Ruai. You can still do it in Ruai.
Yeah.
But do you have Disco Matanga in the ecosystem of Ruai?
Not really.
Let me make some critique.
Yeah.
Vaida was done here in Ruai. Upper Chini, I think it's Ruai. If you looked at the landscape, looked at the soil, it doesn't give you the Vaida element, the Isikuti element.
Yeah.
I would have wished that the producer of Vaida would have gone to Bunyore.
Yeah.
We would have seen the hills of Bunyore. We would have seen Kakamega Forest. We would have seen the beauty of the sugarcane plantation in Mumias, and then the element of Vaida and the Isukuti, which is synonymous with Kakamega, would have come out well. We would have seen a lot of the crying stone of Kakamega.
Yeah.
The Ikolomani, the gold mines of Ikolomani. It would have given a touch. Otherwise, the production was good, proper exposures, proper acting, but now location. I would have put it elsewhere if I was the one producing Vaida, as it were. Yes, you get the point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So I think that one is a challenge to all producers who are watching. We have that mind shift. And I think that one inaweza kuset apart pia from the rest.
Definitely.
So now let's now shift gears now. We're going to into yourself, your corporate career, your corporate MCing. Personally, I've seen you MC even when I was back in school here in KMC. I used to see you. Unakuja na MC kidogo, the cultural weeks. Alafu unatuachia sisi wengine vijana. And I used to love that. Later on nikakuja kujua you also do events for ministries, you do events for organizations.
Yes, yeah.
For you, how is that for you? And does it come naturally, or is it something that you've seen along the way with the connections that you have in the industry? Is it something that sasa embody? Yeah. And do you still do it now actively?
Oh, I do. Yeah, corporate MCing is something that you build on. And you can't just begin with corporate MCing. You begin with small things, small assignments, or small gigs if you like. First and foremost, I began this in high school. I was a very good public speaker, and I would represent my school in what we were calling as symposium that time. And at some point, 2-3 years running, I was the best Kiswahili. I'm very good in Kiswahili, by the way, sometimes.
Yeah.
I did Kiswahili up to my A level, and dropped it to the university when I went to do another course, the University of Nairobi. Went to ADD, did at the architecture design and development. I did design.
Yeah.
And so I began it at that level, speaking. And again, my role as a thespian also gave me a lot of stage presence and understanding the audience. You must understand, you must process your audience and understand who they are and what they do and what does your client want. What kind of audience does your client have? What does the client want? many times again, you may find that the audience wants something, but the client does not want. You must dance to the tune of the client, not the audience.
The client is always right.
It's always supreme.
Yeah.
And there are things you'll have to say that are not necessarily going to make the audience happy or make them interested.
Yeah.
Because the client is always supreme. So I learned that, and of course, having been exposed to the Kenyan National Drama and Film Festival, I began by being an MC at the festivals. I would do it in high schools. I've been invited in various schools. I have been able. The highest moment I did MCing was during the Kenya We Want in 2011? 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
That's when there was a Kenya We Want that was run by the then Prime Minister. The Prime Minister at the KCC.
Yeah.
It was bringing on board very many people. And it happened that the official MC of the then Prime Minister did not come, and I was actually to be under, to cover for him.
Yeah.
He didn't come. And officially, I'm always in suits. I arrived there and I was okay. I began doing the work. It was for 3 days.
Yeah.
And I was paid very handsomely well for that.
Yeah.
And then I realized, well, so it can be good. So would you imagine being an official MC of a Prime Minister's event is equivalent of being an official MC of the presidency or official MC of the principal cabinet secretary. That is the position that I had.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the highest I ever had.
Yeah.
I understood the kind of people that were there. I was one of the committee members. So I understood the objectives of the event. And therefore I would speak naturally without any entrance because I understood the mood of the audience, and I understood the client, and the client was the ministry. The Prime Minister's office wanted to bring, to pacify the country by having a conference that would discuss way forward in as far as how do we then expect to have Kenyans be happy with the government.
Yeah.
And that was it, and having been one of the planners, and then eventually MC, I understood how to go about. That was the highest ever I went. I've also done MCing at the State House, when, of course, with that bit of the festival items.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the official MC of the president, and we have before the official MC of the presidency come, you prepare the mood and provide the technical elements in moderation of the program is concerned. So that's the level we have gone.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling that's great. Of course, it pays well. It depends on the client. The larger the pocket of the client, the larger amount you have to ask.
Yeah.
And then it's something you can do for 2 hours and you run home with a very good package.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see on buyer.
Yeah. So bado uko active. So even if someone amependa interview na anakuita.
Oh, of course, why not?
Yeah.
I'm very much available.
Yeah.
I'm very much available, and I do a lot of graduations. I understand how graduations. I'm in the academia,
Yeah.
so I understand the protocol of academia, the protocol of graduation. I've done very many graduations, very many of them. Of course, the early this year, I was the MC when the Minister for Infrastructure was launching some earth movers, and the minister at the KIBIT, Kenya Institute of Building and Higher Technology.
Yeah.
And I did, of course, that, and I was surprised that the president, the cabinet secretary by then was able to acknowledge the kind of work we had done as a corporate desk at that time. So we have done these things, and I feel great.
Yeah.
Unafanya research kidogo, unapewa ka check, unaangalia kidogo, unatafuta suti ingine mpya because this work in image.
Yeah. True. Very true.
Very good.
Yeah. So now finally tukimalizia. Currently bado kama the patron wa Powerhouse, you're going to Arusha. Personally, I'm happy for the club, and also for the journey that I've seen. I was there for your dress rehearsal.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Ilikuwa poa sana. And this time I noticed kwa Powerhouse, my own take, the Kiswahili play was better than English play.
Yes.
In a long time.
Yeah, in a long time.
Yeah. Na niliona nindo landika
From 2012.
Tobit Tom.
Yes, yeah.
He's the one who wrote it.
No, it's Dickens.
Oh, it's Dickens.
Yeah, Dickens.
Yeah, iko poa.
The interchange.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah.
is it also the same item that mtakuwa mnaenda nayo Arusha and maybe?
Yeah, we have, being this is the time now they are having everybody come. Remember, Uganda has been hosting much of the East African Drama and Music Festival.
Yeah.
This time around is going to TZ, and the proximity of Arusha makes it great for us in terms of it can be even cheaper and also not tiring for our learners who will be traveling.
Yeah.
Remember, learners cut across from early years all the way to university. So it's actually 5 hours drive if you're doing well with your with your sport car, it's 4 hours.
Yeah.
But if you are doing with a normal car, it's 5 hours. If you are doing with a bus, it's 6 hours. It's not very far. It's a distance like from here to Meru.
Yeah.
And you are done. You are in the third or second largest city in Uganda, in Tanzania. So we are excited about it, and we will be representing all the tertiary institutions because we are the best overall in Arusha.
Yeah.
And we will also be getting communication from the Ministry of Education, who are basically the patrons of this event, on the logistics of traveling. And I think there are many other issues involved, like us people being prepared here, them talking to us, our trainees being able to get the jab for yellow fever, and many other issues, so that that preparation of course can start.
Yeah.
Now this time around it will be done in August, the third week of August, when the colleagues in Music Festival are done with their festival in Meru School, so that those who have won in Meru and those who won in drama will go together for that particular event. There's no way we can go for music festival, then go for drama festival. So all the artistic events, that's music and drama, those who won as the leading institutions will go and perform in Arusha.
Yeah.
And we are so excited about it. We are looking forward to it. We are also waiting for communication from the ministry, and also see what our institution will look at it, look at the logistics, and see how we can work together with the Ministry of Education to make sure that this event is a success.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a very high calling, because you are a Kenyan delegation.
Oh, we are, yeah, of course we are, and we go in a convoy.
Yeah.
So going to be a convoy of more than 50 buses. It will be a spectacle.
Yeah.
From here to Namanga all the way to Arusha. It will be a spectacle, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Msiani, I think personally, if the government, I don't know how they usually issue the HSC or the CG, what they call them, I think you deserve one.
Yeah, I've been, my institution actually proposed my name.
Yeah.
Of course, those are come as proposals from your institution. And I think I was proposed by the council, KMC council, through the director and the chairman of the council last year. I think I didn't merit, but I think the names are still in the system for those who will be awarded.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah.
It can be bigger. It can even be OGW.
Yeah.
It will also be HCS, and of course HSC. It can actually be OGW.
Yeah.
So it can be anything. So our work is to work hard and make our clients happy. And our clients are children, our clients are learners, our clients are students. And when my students are happy, my director is happy. When my director is happy, the chairman of the council is happy. And when the chairman of the council is happy, the PS is happy. And when the PS is happy, the government is happy.
Yeah.
You get the point? That is how we work.
Yeah.
I'm a junior. I report directly to the director. I do the work on the director. When I've succeeded, he has succeeded.
Yeah.
When he has succeeded, the chairman has succeeded. The PS has succeeded. And the government has succeeded. This shouldn't serikali. We are actually taxpayers' employees. We are working for the people. And when people are happy, we are also happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Msanii, nimeshukuru.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how they rate gentlemen. Jo wanaume tunabonga, a man is what he does.
All right.
If they rank men that way, I think you are high up there.
Thank you.
In
I
the field
appreciate
that
so
you are
much.
in, you're
It's
excelling.
It's my pleasure.
And also thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you.
I was excited when I'm coming here. Even though I'm starting out on this, it's a solo journey.
Yes,
It's a journey that I'm hopeful will be good.
Yeah.
Challenges zake ziko.
We pray for the
but
best.
The same way wenye umesema wewe pia umekuwa na hiyo journey. Let me also have mine.
You will.
And hopefully
and we'll support you.
Vizuri.
And make sure you come for our support.
Yeah.
When you want support, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
And we'll see what you can do.
Sawa.
In our little way.
Yeah.
Yes, small
Sawa.
way. Yeah.
Maybe tukimalizia in that camera, you can just final words to encourage people, also your Powerhouse members, even the alumni. Sijui kama wako allowed kukuja Arusha. Maybe you can just tell them.
No, they can come. They can
tumalizie.
drive. They can drive to Arusha.
Yeah.
I think they can also ask for clearance.
Yeah.
If things work well, our director will also be coming along with us. And of course, even our member of the council might want to come along with us. Whichever way things will happen, we want to say thank you very much more so the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication Director and of course the council for giving us an opportunity, because we have many schools that are in this field but have not been given that opportunity. I know it's quite expensive to be able to have about 11 items traveling to the regional and even going to national, but then the director with the little resources that he has from the government, has been able to enable us to be able to do all that. So it's we just say thank you very much, and I'm saying this on behalf of the learners. We are about 100 members. Last time we were 85. We couldn't have carried everybody. We dropped others on the way because of the expenses involved. But we want to say thank you very much, KMC community, the director and the chair of the council. More so, the Minister of Education for having kept this up flame from 1959 up to now, because there's no single time we have missed to have this festival other than Corona. And Corona was a phenomenon that we could not have been able to do without. And we had to actually to push aside and vacate our normal activities. And we would want to say thank you very much to the Minister of Education, more so the Executive Secretary, Kenya National Drama and Film Festival, Mr. James Wasita Indomuli, and the chairman of the festival, Professor CJ Odhiambo. And of course, all those who are involved in adjudicators, as well as operators, and the entire family of the Kenya National Drama and Film Festival. We are saying thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, thank you, our alumni who have kept us running. When we want to come low, you tell us keep on going, because we left the legacy and we want this legacy to move on. We want to thank you a great deal. And of course, again, some of those alumni who come in to assist in directing, assist in ideation and scripting, that is again our heroes of our time. Thank you very much.